Oh, say, can you see?
We are super stoked. This is a momentous event. It could mark another pivotal milestone in the great awakening of humanity. And it just seems like the time is now. And Mickey's put so much hard work and effort into building this whole series. Let's go.
Let's go.
The only conspiracy is that I asked people to look at the data, and the government officials are all concealing the data so that you can't see it. There's no data transparency. If you're a researcher and you want to go into this vaccine safety data link database, which is they're 100% reported, you can't get access. And if you do get access, they'll kick you out as soon as you find a signal. So they're hiding all the data. Because look, if the vaccines are safe and effective, then they should be opening up the data.
How are they able to get away with like saying, oh, he's been debunked? Like, how do they get away with that?
They own the mainstream media. The pharmaceutical industry is so wealthy that because they have no liability for the death and damage caused by their vaccines, they are so wealthy, they've been able to buy politicians, medical training, the media, everybody. And that's the great value of social media. The great thing about what you guys are doing is the word is getting out there. And it's got out there more than ever in the face of COVID because people no longer trust Tony Fauci, they no longer trust public health, and they most certainly do not trust the pharmaceutical companies.
Anything else as far as like a word of hope?
A word of hope, yeah. When I started, it was a handful. Now it's more than half the adult population of the world who are aware of this issue. So we are winning. It's painful, it's uncomfortable, but this is what winning looks like.
Frustrating, maddening.
Maddening, but you know, this is going to take us a while.
But tonight's the Great Awakening, those of us that are trying to tell the truth are facing a lot of harassment, essentially. So what's a word of hope you can offer?
Oh, there's plenty of hope. I mean, the Great Awakening. Love wins, God wins, and we're seeing it right here tonight. Every step of the way, if we love each other and work together, we've got this. It'll never happen again.
I'm not victim in this country, even though I am a Chinese American immigrant, but I'm living American dream. Tell me which country I can go to with nothing, $100, don't speak English, to run for U.S. Congress. So I love this country. This is an exceptional country, but our young people don't know that because they're being brainwashed. So there's something terribly wrong with my new country in educational system. So I'm trying to do my part, to tell my story, to educate, to wake up people to say, hey, you know what, you really need to learn what happened to us.
So many people are so afraid of the reaction they're going to get or what are people going to think. And for me, my ultimate confidence comes in my faith. Because of my faith in God and who I know Jesus is and who he is to me, it's like I have nothing to be afraid of. This world is going to end one day, and then there's the afterlife, there's heaven. For those that know him. And so I don't walk with fear. It's interesting, actually, that's the number one message in the Bible is fear not. Jesus said it more than anything, fear not. And so I just choose to, and you have to try to continually guard your heart and not be consumed by fear and choose to be courageous and have faith that when you say something that's from the heart, that's passionate, that even if it impacts just one person, will it be worth it? Yes, it will be.
It's been fascinating to me just to see the population and see the hypnosis, if you will, and then those people that are open and have continued to get red pilled, you know? And so what do you think is the difference? Why are some people able to have an open mind and see the truth?
You know, in some ways, I guess it's partly, you know, I think we're born into it a little bit. Also how we're socialized. I think, you know, our school system, depending on where you grew up, your school system can really dumb you down. And look, we have been taught to be compliant. We've been taught that we shouldn't be having difficult conversations, you know, all the political correctness. That's what got us into this problem, right? It's people that are afraid to just speak their minds. We've forgotten that really our founding fathers wanted us to be outspoken and celebrate our independence. And we've sort of gone this other direction over the last, you know, couple of decades where we're really, I think what this film is going to be a lot about, moving in, whether you want to call it socialism or communism or at least what, you know, Ed Griffin says, collectivism, this idea that everybody else is more important than I am. It's just not true. If our body worked that way, if our cells started shutting down and said, well, the other cells got it, I'm not important, then we would die. And I think that's what's happening to our society right now. We've got to celebrate ourselves. We've got to get into our own bodies again. And look, I think that a lot of people, it's sort of, compassion is a weapon. They've been using our compassion for humanity as a way to undermine us. And so it's just getting back to critical thinking. I think more and more people are waking up. And what I always say is we should be focusing on those that are not waking up, because they have always been there. We founded this country with a giant group of people that were complacent and not paying attention. Every great change on the earth happened, even though there's always a large group of people that are complacent, not paying attention. And in the end, whoever wins the battle, that group follows them. So let them follow. We're never going to have to worry about them. They're always there in the middle, just waiting for whoever's going to win, the argument of the day. And I have a spoiler alert, freedom wins.
Is it hard still getting sucked into media attention because of your ex-husband and now he's running again? Is that difficult?
Yeah, I think one reason I pulled away from being in front of the spotlight is I didn't want to have to be faced with questions of judgment, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to judge another human being ever. And that means judge anyone that would be hateful towards my daughter's father. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be a part of it. That's not helping anyone. That's just creating this dysfunction and the downfall of our values and of our world. So I decided to stay out of the camera and just work behind the scenes. And it's the first time I've actually come out in front of the camera in a long time, other than my Instagram, and a few podcasts that I'll do, and I hope to get mine back and going soon. So, well, I never really talk about politics, but I support the values of humanity and whatever we can do to get this country back on target again, and help people see what's really happening, that our freedoms are slowly being stripped. I would rather support people that aren't politicians, that are here not being paid off and not held captive by a group of the wealthy, but really care about the country and want to honor the country, and because it's our kingdom. We stand for the kingdom of God, and this is our kingdom, and we have to have faith and cover it in God's grace.
And to let you get on your way, my last question, since this is called The Great Awakening, what's your message of hope for people?
Oh, just that they find the heart and soul of who they are. That great awakening happens within. Every day we have to wake up in the morning and say, okay, God, what do you have for me today? I want to be awakened at a new level. And here we are, part of the Great Awakening. And I think if each of us keep that spirit alive, that's going to be the ripple effects.
As a king, I really want you to touch upon this. I've lost friends, been accused of being racist just because I'm on this side. I mean, it's blown me away. It's been really hurtful. How do we get past the division and come together and not how do we cross that divide?
Division is a tool of the enemy. You and I may be different colors, but that doesn't mean that we don't want the same things, that we don't want to protect our children. We don't want to protect our freedoms. We don't want to be successful in life. The enemy uses that to keep us separated and keep us divided. As long as we are worried about what somebody's skin color is, as long as we're worried about somebody's religion, somebody's sexual preference, or somebody's skin color, religion, politics, then we're not together. We're not on the united front. And as long as we're divided, the enemy will continue to win. So it's just time that we get past all of those barriers and focus on what's important. And what's important is protecting our children and our freedom.
Events like this in the past, there may have been a couple hundred people. Now there's thousands of people and thousands of people watching online and millions of people that are going to watch later. It's just really great to see that people are connecting the dots. They're seeing what the problems are. They're doing their own research. They're not just taking somebody's word for it. And they're coming to the conclusion that they've been lied to. And when you say, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, not going to happen.
You went through a great awakening when you were invited to sing, and then tell me what happened.
Yeah, I got canceled simply because I refused to get vaccinated, and they weren't willing to honor a religious exemption of any sort. And so, yeah, I took a stand because, freedom is, it was hard fought, hard earned, and so many people dedicated their lives for the cause of freedom, and it's not worth any opportunity, to trade.
So I've always said that you're like the pioneer, or you're one of the first people to wake people up What's it like to now see all of this independent media up and down the aisle, like more people in it, and trying to open people's eyes?
I always bet on humanity, and I believe when humanity was faced with globalist tyranny and depopulation and forced injections, it was in their own documents. People think I'm some prophet. I was reading this stuff 30 years ago. I was on there 29 years ago. They all said what they would do. So I believe that when they tried this, people would say no, we warned them it was coming, and it's happening. And so it's very exciting to see,
So you like that there's now a larger pool of people that followed your lead?
That was always the goal. I didn't want to be the only guy talking about this. I don't territorialize this information. I wanted to get everybody else on board to fight it. And once you create that chain reaction, it's over for the globalists. So I don't see it as like I'm the top talk show host or I'm the guy that has all the answers. When I see everybody else reading the same documents, looking at the enemy battle plan, and we're winning, I'm winning for my future. So this is a group effort. This is beautiful. A lot of folks came before me, G. Edward Griffin and Ron Paul and the John Birch Society and Mr. Welsh and everybody. So, and like people will come bigger than us in the future to fight tyranny. This battle is eternal, good versus evil. It's a choice of the soul. And so I'm just honored to be here and to try to stop the next lockdown, the next pandemic, because that's imminent. The enemy is pre-prepping it. They're going to stage power outages, new wars. I mean, listen, we think this is great. We're waking folks up right now. This is humanity's instinct waking up. But I don't want to be a day late, dollar short. We shouldn't take the Great Awakening as an overconfidence, because the Great Awakening is a counter of the Great Reset. The enemy's coming with everything it's got. And so I think right now, if it was a final battle, we'd win by 1%. I don't know what's going to happen in 6 months or a year. We are in the state. People better know it's game time.